Not an era of war. What a statement. Good, bad or stupid. So hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Neeraj here and welcome back to my channel. Neeraj Shah's Talk Analyst. So this statement by Indian Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi in recent times has become talk of the town or talk of the universe. So I just wanted to share some of my thoughts regarding this statement and its impact. So not an era of war, that's what he told. So really? So are you trying to tell that there is a time for war or there is a time for everything fixed? That you can have Monday and Tuesday you can have war and Wednesday and Friday you cannot have war? Or you can only die at certain time and you cannot die after certain time? So how the universe is working? So battlefields and war and all these events are pre-decided? Or you have to take your position as per the situation, life, death, survival, right? You can't wait that this is not an era of war or this is not the era of COVID. So COVID also, when pandemic came, it came with its time saying that okay, I am coming, and still it came, right? And did people say that no, this is not the time for pandemic, this is not the time for this? So this kind of statement, if you will ask me, my personal opinion, it is not in a great, what you call, sense of, it's not a great intellectual. I mean, people, if you just go little deep and try to analyze also, except for the making headlines in the world, it doesn't convey anything. I mean, it in fact, if you ask me, like I analyzed you in a very simple terms, that it cannot be decided, right? War and Mahabharata was decided? No. Ramayana was decided? No. Did Ram decide to go after Ravan just like that way? No. So events happen because of certain circumstances, certain situations, and you have to react or act, whichever, what you say. Just because, suppose if tomorrow India decides, or whatever, it decides in the sense India suddenly, internally it may have been decided according to the strategic planning people and all this, confidential government people, but not for the common people, may not be knowing, but suddenly, India attacks, suppose, or there is a war happened between India and Pakistan, and India captures Pakistan occupied Kashmir, means POK, which is basically India's part only, officially we call it. So that time somebody will tell that no, this is not a era of war, we should not be doing. So I think this kind of statement, either you take a clear-cut position or refrain from talking like this way, because the same way I would just connect it with the financial world or what you call that economics, is that this is not a time of, this is not an era of investment. Of course, markets overall situation may be very bad but still there will be pockets of stocks or areas where people will still find some opportunities and investment will be happening, right? Otherwise the market will close down, right? That okay, now it's not a time for investment, so let us close. So when the situation and everything becomes perfect, then only we'll start. So there is nothing like perfection in the world. We all strive to achieve towards that. So that is the journey. Okay. So I just wanted to share this kind of a, that people and the world going gaga over this not an era of war actually doesn't convey anything. In fact, it looks in the common sense parlance, if you look at it, it looks highly, what do you call, frivolous or futile statement. And I would not suggest, that to carry on or continue making statements or like this way, because we are not elaborating our position at all clearly, and we think that by playing neutral we are becoming the darling of, no, it doesn't convey anything. you cannot be, if you have to be neutral, then non-alignment movement, which India's was there, you can continue to be like this way. But in today's world, if you strive to be a great power, you have to take a great position. And just saying that this is not an era of war doesn't mean anything. As if when you can fight or you start war, that becomes the era of right time. So then you can do. But if somebody else does, then you go and preach that this is not an era of war. So it looks highly futile and frivolous statement. Just like US can keep on preaching to the others, don't do this and don't do that, but the same thing they keep on repeating because they set the standard. That's what they said, that we can do but you cannot do. So let us refrain from this kind of statements, and this is what my personal view about this particular statement and how you can relate it to the day-to-day also, that if you think like this way, this is not an era of, you can never do anything in the life because you always think that this is not the time for this and that is not the time for that. But there is always time for everything. So you cannot just wait and see that this is not time for this, but you can take decision based on certain analysis, data and your own judgment and then carry on. So nobody, this gives a very wrong kind of a perception or the message to the people that you have to wait for some proper time for everything. Because in a nutshell, whatever the leader says, people follow and it is carried forward. So I would just like to give my opinion regarding this. That's it. That there is always time for everything. Okay, it's based on certain your judgment and analysis, and which others may not be able to understand or others may not be knowing the circumstances behind that particular point of action. So that's it from my side, and love you all. I just wanted to share this small video with you. Ciao. See you once again next week.